Hello there, and welcome to another preview video for Empire War Expanded with the next version, Thrawn's Revenge 3.1 and Fall of the Republic 1.1. There's going to be some additional changes to the Galactic level visuals. We talked last week about the UI and the changes that we've made there, but today I wanted to talk about some of the other changes to the actual map. So you'll notice the graphics have changed a little bit for the both the galaxy map and the planet positions have changed. So for the galaxy map, I've been working on some changes to this for a while. They're probably going to keep going long beyond what's in this video, but the first set of that has been to kind of tone down some of the graphics and make them kind of take a back seat to the planets a bit more, where before there used to be the kind of pulsating lines. We still have the text for the core and deep core borders, but that's been changed from red to yellow, which stands out a little bit less. And these lines are now just static white lines for the borders of the different areas. So they're still there, but they should be a little less overwhelming. The next thing I kind of want to take a look at is the scale of the planets and the lines between them. That's always been a bit tricky to get right, because if they're too small, you can kind of see what thinner ones end up looking like. But the main thing I want to talk today is the spacing between the planets. So we've always had accurate planet positioning in Thrawn's Revenge, in Fall of the Republic, where all the planets are pretty much where they're meant to be, or where they canonically are. But there were some issues in certain areas where that would mean planets overlap a little bit, and we're a little bit too close together, or in some areas it would be large swaths of empty space. And that's why we're in Empire's End right now in Thrawn's Revenge, but in a moment we'll go to a full planet map, just to kind of show what it looks like now. The big change here has been scaling down the deep core a bit and giving the core a bit more room. So that's kind of been artificially inflated, whereas the deep core is a little bit artificially deflated, which allows us to kind of path stuff around the deep core a bit more easily, because it's supposed to be somewhat obscure and inaccessible, but as it is, it has a bit too much emphasis on it. So some maps will probably get a few more regular core planets put in so that there's more to fight over in the core. But there's also been some changes in other areas. In general, it's just been focusing on spacing out some of the planets that were a bit too close together and making sure there's a minimum distance between different planets. This is something that'll change a little bit as other planets get added, because they're going to be obviously taking up room that is going to be currently occupied. But we're going to jump into an edit that I did to put all the planets in any of our mods on one map. So this is obviously a lot more than you'd ever see in any of the maps that are actually in the mod, but I made sure when I was doing the spacing that any combination of planets could be picked and it would still work properly. So we're going to load up the New Republic here, and I'll kind of go through some of the areas. There are some areas in the Star Wars galaxy that are just emptier than others, and no matter how many planets we'd add, would be kind of more sparse than other ones. Like the Galactic North has always been a lot more highly populated than the Galactic South, especially if you go through the north down into the core. So there's always been all these planets up here, but now they should, even if we had every single planet on the map, be spaced relatively properly. They don't really get much closer than Galadran and Liana here. But there were a few changes made in those areas that were a bit more sparse to kind of bring them in closer to the rest of the galaxy. So a few of those areas, like the area around Bothan space down to Tatooine and Geonosis, these planets used to be a bit more down in this area. Now they've been shifted up a little bit, so that they are kind of in with the rest a little bit more. These planets over here, Lyran, Gamor, and Rathana, will probably be shifted over as well, because I think I left those where they were. But a lot of these planets kind of just make it so that there's more areas of the galaxy where there's something going on, and fewer where it's super clustered and then large empty spaces. So just kind of standardizing some of the distances a little bit more while still keeping the core of the correct positioning. Endor, Bakura, Grow, and Katamaskar have been moved over a little bit, so they're a little bit closer to these areas, And the planets in the unknown regions have been shifted over a little bit as well, though they're still quite far out compared to everything else in the galaxy. Again, this is something that's going to be shifting around a fair bit as we go, but on the whole, it should make it so that any of the areas where there used to be a little bit of difficulty selecting specific planets or moving specific fleets, you should have a much easier time now, and we're a lot more free to be able to pick different sector or fill up different sectors and sections of the galaxy without having to worry as much about what's overlapping where. So we still want to make sure that everything is accurately positioned insofar as it's possible, but we want to make sure that it doesn't come with too much of a gameplay detriment in areas where you have planets that are close together. Like a couple, I still got to shift around a little bit. We'll probably space out these in the kind of western section of the deep core a little bit more or a little bit differently. Can probably move Biss over and Odic down a little bit, and can probably move Farfin up a little bit. But it's all the kind of stuff that will change as other planets get added as well, so you'll see some changes as we go. But hope you are looking forward to the next releases of Thrawn's Revenge and Fall of the Republic. We'll have more news coming on what exactly we're changing in those versions, because there haven't been too many update videos on that or update posts on that. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.